Questioning Taul, session 4, my 10 and 11-year-old self. The most batshit crazy of them all, okay? For my boys and for posterity. I hate to say how many times my life had been turned around already, but I'm now 10 and I've agreed to do confirmation. And it seems like that was the miraculous needed piece of information, because all of a sudden the relatives from down home showed up. Dawn had purchased from the Grills Mrs. and Mrs. Taylor's house, and now they were renovating both, and John McEwen was going to buy the house that we were moving out of. So at 10, I'm now, my foot's healed. I'm happy because I can play again and do everything that I've been doing. But now the world is going to be centered around these two houses and a whole new gaggle of clan. So Grandma came up and she was topping me up with Catholicism by feeding me my favorite food. But along with Grandma came the Simses and Lyra, Mom's sister, and Jerry and the two kids. And that house was the Taylor house, and it was full. No place to sleep there. If I slept there, I was sleeping on the couch. And the house behind now was the McEwen house, and now I am stuck in the middle, as we like to say. Sleeping on the couch at the one place, but we were still in the old house that winter when I'm 10, while Dawn and Lyra start to staying out late at night, and Mom was using me as her confessor. So I've gone back to school. Dick Merkley, and I think, as I told you earlier, Dick must have really went to bat for me after I got all the way to school, and he fed me tea and we talked. Because after that, grade 7 and 8 were fairly easy, although I'm pretty sure in grade 7, the first half of the year, I got the same kind of bullying I'd gotten over at Vincent Massey because of my size. But once I'd gotten big enough that I could defend myself, and by the way, the reputation was pretty good because I threw Jimmy on top of a fire hydrant and thought I broke his back, and then I punched Leon so hard that I ruptured an eardrum, and then the final one was where I beat up a kid in the playground. So I guess they weren't going to fight with me after I was 10. And with the fact that now I could do all the sports, I was playing hockey, we were playing stickball, we had a bunch of us at the beach, we played over by the Christies, so life as far as outside of the house was fine. We had a ball. There was all kinds of new friends, the Fortunes, the Goodwins, I could name all of them. And even the Irelands and their families, the Williams were down there, and the McClellans. So lots of interesting things happening at my 10 and 11-year-old self at the East Beach. And the summers are easy. Donna's not going to pester about bass. Mom and I have come to the agreement long ago about what I would do for my confirmation and post. So summer was finished. The fall arrives, and the thing is, we've got Lyra and Jared, well, the whole Sims family is there. And they go away, and then they come back the next spring. And lo and behold, there was a new baby in the in the midst of that. And that was Debbie. Okay, now I had been told that Mom couldn't have another child after Valerie because it would paralyze her from the waist down. She had a piece of plastic put at the bottom of her spine, and so that was the story. So Debbie has that to deal with, and I'll leave it at that. So I'm now dealing with a house full of not new people, but people that I had to try to find a way to live with. And then from grade 7 through on was when I made myself well known to the people up in Bowmanville. Wonderful family. So I definitely used that whole winter to get as much out of them as I could. And then in the friggin' fall, when Mom and Don broke their promise again, because Don just got more and more devout. He was doing retreats, at least that's what he said. He'd be gone for a weekend. He was probably with his buddies. And then he took me up to Midland for quote, a retreat. And that's the last time I dealt with my Catholicism. Because I never went back after that. Hugs to all. This is Taul.